Left-hand side right here, there's a black rhino just resting on the ground there. Black rhinos, they weigh up to 3,000 pounds. They also have a pointy lip, which helps them browse through bushes and low-hanging trees. And also, do you see those horns? Unfortunately, they are critically endangered because they're being really heavily poached for those horns. So there are less than 5,000 left in the world. On the right-hand side, there's some bongo behind those trees. Look at those curved horns, those horns that are angled back. It allows them to run through the forest without getting caught in the branches. And these are greater kudu. I don't see any horns on these greater kudu, so they're female. Only the males have horns. Really long ones too. They can extend out 6 feet. Alright guys, we're going to head over to the edge of the forest where there's a river. We call it Safi River. Just seeing the different animals here in the forest, guys, are a little reminder to us to use paper responsibly. This paper does come from trees in the forest like this, where a lot of the animals, they call it their home. So it's a little reminder to recycle, try not to be too wasteful. It also takes a lot of water to manufacture paper as well. One sheet of printer paper takes up to 2 cups of water. Oh, check out the right-hand side over here, guys. That's a Nile hippopotamus. Hippos, they weigh up to 5,500 pounds. Now, usually they'll come out of the water at night, since they are nocturnal animals. So it's a little bit different that we're actually going to see a hippo out of the water now. Hippos, they spend most of the day submerged in water, and they do sleep for most of the day. It's usually how they stay cool, by staying in the water throughout the day. There's another hippo just up ahead. It looks like a shiny rock in the water. They're not the best of swimmers. They'll sink to the river floor and they'll walk along the bottom. And then they'll float back up for air. They can hold their breath for about 8 minutes. There's another hippo on the left-hand side here. Hippos are also very, very territorial, so they can be quite aggressive. There's another one on the land. Looks like a lot of them are out of the water now. But yeah, they can be quite aggressive. Hippos are actually one of the most dangerous animals in Africa. Oh, check out the left-hand side in this pit here. There's some Nile crocodiles. They're the largest of the crocodilians, about 18 to 20 feet long. Look at those teeth. Now, crocodiles, they mainly eat fish. However, you saw those large jaws, they're extremely powerful. So if they wanted to, they're more than capable of hunting much larger animals like zebras, wildebeest, and sometimes even smaller hippos.
It feels like going to my mom's house.
Alright, we're leaving the forest area. We're going to head over to the savannah. Now, some of those animals in the forest, like the bongo, they were pretty well hidden. But I think it's going to be a little bit easier here in the savannah. It's very wide open and flat.
Look at that tree.
It should be easier to see the different animals here. This tree on the right-hand side is called a baobab tree, also known as the tree of life, as it's able to store an enormous amount of water in its trunk and survive long periods of drought. Sometimes the larger animals, like elephants or rhinos, they'd actually scrape their tusks or the horns into the tree's bark to extract water from them. And the locals, they also call it upside down trees. Its branches kind of look like roots. But we might see a few more baobab trees out there. This is the savannah, guys. We do see a giraffe way up ahead. We tend to slow down a lot when it comes to the savannah. A lot of the animals here will be very migratory animals, so they will be traveling left and right, looking for food and water, hanging out in random locations. So a lot of times large groups of them, they do cross over the roads, and sometimes it does slows us down quite a bit. pass by a few more giraffe over here. They're the tallest land animal. They can grow up to 20 feet tall. Also, if you notice, the trees all in this area, they're all kind of trimmed up from the bottom up, creating this nice little line. That is from the giraffes. It gives us a nice visual of how high they can actually reach. They can reach a little bit higher than 20 feet. And they also have really long, what we call prehensile tongues. Prehensile means they can wrap their tongues around branches and leaves and pull on them kind of like a hand. And remember their cousin, the okapi that we saw in the forest? They are relatives of the giraffe, so they also have those long prehensile tongues as well. There's also a whole herd of wildebeest on the right-hand side, white-bearded wildebeest.
See, we gotta get a picture of those.
We're gonna get a little closer to those wildebeest in just a bit, but for now we'll look at these giraffe. If you're wondering what's on their heads, those are two ossicones. Ossicones are kind of like horns, but they're covered in fur and hair. There also are many species of giraffe. These giraffe are Maasai. You can tell by their spots, they have very irregular shapes and they're a little rough on the edges. Other species like reticulated giraffe, they might have thicker lines in between their spots. You can see those at Animal Kingdom Lodge. As you see on the left-hand side, there is an animal that ducked behind those rocks over there, but there was an African wild dog. You might be able to see it around these rocks here. Oh, there they are. So on the left-hand side are the African wild dogs behind this little cave enclosure here.
You see them?
They're actually the most successful hunters in Africa. About 80 to 90% of their hunts are successful, which is a lot better than large cats like lions, who only get about 20 to 30%. Wild dogs, they hunt in packs, and they have an ability to expend a lot of energy, which tires out their prey. Sometimes they'll even take turns. Sometimes they'll take turns pursuing their prey as well and conserve more energy. Alright, on the left-hand side are a group of sable antelope. They have those curved, very sharp points to the ends of their horns. They're very aggressive antelope. In fight or flight situations, they almost always choose to fight instead of running away. Even the males, they would spar with each other to try to display dominance during mating season. Alright, we're getting a little bit closer to these wildebeest. Also, this cattle coming up on our left is called an Ankole cattle, also known as Watusi cattle. So the white-bearded wildebeest. They are the most densely populated herds. One herd of wildebeest can contain over 100,000 individuals. Wildebeest are very, very migratory animals as well. Every single year, about 1.5 million wildebeest would migrate across hundreds of miles of the African savanna as they look for food and water.
There's a whole bunch over here. Wow. Yeah.
So the Ankole cattle, they have these really massive horns, and you know, they're actually hollow inside. They're built with a honeycomb structure. They have a lot of blood vessels in their horns. The way it works is their blood flows through their horns and it actually releases body heat through them, prevents them from overheating in the hot African sun. That animal crossing the road right now is a Patterson's eland. Elands are the largest of the antelopes. They can actually grow up to 6 feet at the shoulder. Both the males and females have those spirally horns. This one is a female though. It's a little bit smaller than the male.
Oh my gosh, they are all.
So yeah, Ankole cattle, they are domesticated animals. They're actually the only domesticated animal here on the reserve.
Oh,
Some
this is the
African
best
tribes like the
tour.
Maasai tribe, they actually see the Ankole cattle as symbols of wealth, so they don't use them for meat. Instead, they store them in these pens, and they kind of keep them as like really high forms of currency.
Oh my god, this is so
You guys that missed the.
So the giraffe's height, it not only allows them to reach really high, it also allows them to see very far. They can spot predators from far away and
Damn,
run up to
today they
35
are
miles
all-
per hour if they need to. Because of their heights, they don't have very many natural predators, as their height is pretty intimidating to a lot of predators,
really
even like lions. They tend to leave them
We'll
alone.
have to send these videos and then delete them.
But their biggest
Yeah.
threat, unfortunately, are humans
For
poaching.
the memories, the
So
stories.
giraffes are an
I know
endangered
I
species.
already got the. I already got the message saying the storage is just too low.
So yeah, go through and send them to your sister, and then we can delete them.
Ooh, check out on the right-hand side over here, guys. There's an African elephant. On the right. The elephant is the largest land animal. African elephants have those massive ears. They can weigh up to 13,000 pounds. It's heavier than 3 black rhinos. You see that monkey on the left? That's a mandrill.
You see him?
It's going down into the pit. I know it's a little tricky to see. It's crawling down there.
Wait, give me. Let's see if we can find it. No. Yeah, it was just
We're gonna keep moving on, guys. Hopefully find some more elephants. That one was a male elephant. Males are pretty solitary. They like to hang out by themselves. Actually, males get kicked out of the herd at about 14 years of age, and then they're off on their own. They will try to meet up with other herds to look for a mate, and sometimes the males will band together and form smaller bachelor herds as well. Now, what we're looking for is the female herd, as they like to hang out in larger groups.
cool would this be?
Elephants are a female-dominated group of animals, and they have a matriarch or a female as their herd leader. Females like to hang out in larger groups among their calves. So if we're lucky, we might be able to see an elephant calf. I do see elephant tusk marks on the red clay walls on either side of us. Elephants, they like to dig through the clay to try to get at the vitamins and nutrients inside. Now remember, both the males and females have those ivory tusks, not just the males. Now, unfortunately, the poachers are also after their tusks for that ivory. So they hunt both male and female. So elephants are an endangered species. Elephants' habitats are also being destroyed by coltan mining. Coltan is what we use in cell phones. So it's actually a pretty good idea to recycle old, unused cell phones if possible. Now the Disney Wildlife Conservation Fund, they are trying to help save the elephants. So they started these different programs. One of them's the Elephants and Bees Project. They actually found out that elephants are afraid of honeybees. So they got a little creative with that. They started planting beehives around the local farms in Kenya. And it actually prevents the elephants from trampling over the farmers' crops and destroying their property and their income. And it also keeps the elephants in their own natural habitats. So it reduces conflict between humans and elephants. Alright guys, we're going to go around these flamingos, but also you guys can look over to the left-hand side and there's some more elephants, including an elephant calf. That's what we're talking about with females. They like to hang out with their calves over there, so check that out. That calf's about 2 years old. But these are greater flamingos over here. They can grow up to 5 feet tall. And they're known for their palish pink feathers. They get those colors from their diet. They eat lots and lots of brine shrimp, which has that pink carotene in them. The animal just up ahead on the road, that's a bontebok.
Oh, he's in the middle.
They're relatives of the wildebeest. If you look real closely, you could kind of notice a little oily sheen to their coats. It's a little purplish as well.
Oh, they are
They
so
used to be really heavily poached for their coats. Got to a point in the early 20th century, they were actually hunted to near extinction. There are only 20 bontebok left in the whole world. But due to conservation efforts, and especially due to the farmers helping them, protecting them on their land, they're actually able to bring their population back. So they're a nice conservation success story.
See the Mickey?
On the left-hand side over here, guys, it's gonna be a little tricky to see, but there's two cheetahs lying down in front of us right there.
See him?
Lying on the ground there. Cheetahs are the fastest land animal. They can go from standing still and sprint up to 60 miles per hour in just under 6 seconds. They could even maintain that top speed for about 200 to 300 yards. Cheetahs also hunt during the day, broad daylight, which is very unlike most large cats like lions, who tend to hunt mostly during the night. Speaking of lions, there is a male lion right over here, guys. He's in front of us to the left.
What are we doing?
He is just sleeping right there.
You get the face?
I can't get it closer.
And it's a male lion.
Way closer.
This is a common sight for lions. One, they are nocturnal, so they're mostly active at night. So they are sleeping for most of the day, and they sleep up to 20 hours each day. So when they do sleep, it's for quite a long time. There's a female lion on our left-hand side. Look at those large paws. You know, when they spread their paws out, they're actually the size of a dinner plate. In a lion pride, the females do most of the hunting. The males, they tend to stay behind in the territory and help raise and protect the cubs. What makes them excellent hunters at night is their eyesight.
He didn't see the rhinos.
During the day, they'll see very much like we do, but they have special night vision where they're able to see about 6 times better than us in the dark.
Oh, sleeping.
Yeah, I thought it was just one.
Oh, here's a couple of warthogs on the left-hand side. Warthogs are part of the pig family. They have those tusks they use to dig through the ground. They are the largest burrowing animal.
And here you go, there's a rhino.
Rhino
Looks
there.
like there's a few white rhinos here, guys.
Look those
I kind of
things.
saw the black rhino over in the forest. They had pointy lips. White rhinos have flat lips. They live out here in the flat savanna. Helps them graze grass.
Oh.
And they're a little bit larger as well, weighing up to 5,000 pounds. Alright, those are ostrich over there, guys. If you're wondering what ostrich eggs look like, this group of eggs right here are ostrich eggs. Ostriches are the largest bird. They are flightless. They do have wings, but instead of using them to fly, they use them to balance when they're running at top speeds. They have powerful legs that allow them to run up to 40 miles per hour. And those eggs are massive. They're the largest of the eggs. They weigh up to 3 pounds each. And they are able to withstand the weight of those adult ostrich, which they weigh well over 200 pounds.